last I checked, my legal name is William, middle name as in Earl, in case someone really wanted to know. And my last name is Green, William Earl Green.
And William, I know that you are a fantastic artist. So tell the people who may not be familiar a little bit about yourself as far as what you play and your presence here in Atlanta area.
Thank you so much, Dior. I'm a keyboard player. I'm also a singer, songwriter, producer, arranger, composer, tap dancer some days, juggler, if you catch me on the right moment. And I am just honored, Dior, that you thought enough about me to invite me to do this particular interview. I'm going to be performing this coming Saturday in the beautiful city of Marietta, Georgia, in fact, doing a performance for my good friend Fontaine Lewis, who has an event that is entitled Jazz and Jokes. And this coming Saturday's performance is going to be a continuation of my celebration of 40 years in the music industry and the release of the new CD, which is entitled Mind Rush.
Mm-hmm. So this new CD, since you mentioned it, kind of tell us what can we expect from it? Like what it's all about, and kind of what was your thinking behind it?
Mind Rush refers to the numerous amount of mental thoughts that we as human beings are engaged in on a daily basis. The way by which we as humans are able to navigate with these, sometimes in the course of a day, maybe close to 500,000 thoughts that the average human being experiences. We are able to navigate through those thoughts and produce powerful and significant images, powerful interaction with other human beings, significant and powerful gifts, if you will allow me to say it, to our society. And I felt the necessity to have a grouping of songs that embody that mindset that we as human beings experience on a regular basis.
All right. I mean, that sounds pretty abstract and pretty pretty psychedelic, for lack of better terms.
You're not the only person. My publicist is sitting here laughing at the same thing, so it's cool.
So when you think about a project so deep and introspective, kind of how long did it take you to put this project together?
It actually took me a little bit more than 7 years. And what's so interesting about this process, as I'm doing the interview with you now, I'm here at the recording studio where the project was recorded by my good friend Dwayne Kelly with Sound Resort Studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm reminiscing on the fact that he and I have been in pursuit of the completion of this project, along with his brother, George Kelly, for definitely 7 years. It wasn't that I wanted to take that long. Honestly, had the financial means been available to me, I could have very well completed it within a year's time. But I'm thankful to the creator, to the process of creation as well, that allowed me to be forced to take as much time as I did. Because like anything that you eat that you consider to be quality food, it's best when it is prepared over a period of time. Nothing to be said about fast food, especially if you're hungry and that's what your body can tolerate, by all means have it. But I think we as human beings now are forced to have and enjoy more quality nutritional products, food, imagery, sounds come into our body so that we can be better people and be more empowered. So the 7 years was well needed. I can't say, that I would do it any differently if it were to be done again. I'm very appreciative of the fact that it did take me 7 years to complete
it. Off the top of my head, it made me think about had you completed it sooner, how do you think The fact that it taken 7 years, how do you think it affected your music had you had done it a lot sooner?
How would it have affected the music on the recording?
Yeah, the recording, maybe how you approach the music, kind of your final product, how you ended up with the direction that you went in, how you think you would affect if you had done it faster versus it taking the time that it took.
Would not have produced the uh, poignancy of what you now hear on this record. Poignancy in the sense that how powerful it is. A lot of times as an artist, and I think all artists who have done a recording in their past would have to admit that you don't put the same type of level of creativity into something when you are either forced or push yourself to release something by a certain time period. When you have the luxury in which to record something and release it at your leisure and at your will, you are constantly developing a heightened level of creativity with, the one song or every individual song that's on a recording, so that it reaches its maximum power potential, if you allow me to say that. Whereby, had I released it in a year's time, I would not have been concerned about every note, every volume adjustment, every nuance that really makes a single record impactful. So again, the process of creativity, is different for every artist. It's different for every project as well.
Mm-hmm. So you're able to put a lot of TLC in this project in Word,
right? Oh, not only TLC, but MONEY. Yes, yes, sirree.
Well, I'm sure the fans greatly appreciate the time and effort you're able to put in the project. Speaking of your project and kind of some of your milestones, you've also accumulated another really interesting milestone as far as your length of time here in Atlanta. Could talk about that a little bit as well.
Sure. This summer, in this month, in fact, it'll be the last week in this month, I actually came here from Chicago, Illinois in 1978. I'm always, thinking about, reminiscing of my journey here. My mom, who is the real reason why I'm the musical artist that I am, and who has supported and just pushed me all of my career, even up until when she was not able to do so. She put me on a Greyhound bus and with a brown paper bag lunch, sandwich of some type. And one of the things that she told me when I got on the bus that day was, God will make room for your gift. And, as you're younger, you don't really think about the significance of something so huge as that statement. That statement goes way beyond money. It goes beyond success, status. So to this day, I'm always thinking about that. And my reason initially for coming here was to go to Morehouse College, which I did for about a year and a half. And at that time, going to Morehouse for just one semester was, I think, like about $6,000, which even then, 40 years ago, was a lot of money, especially for an individual such as me who didn't have a scholarship. I had really no financial means of even the pursuit of coming to school. It was my godbrother, who was already a student at Morehouse, who convinced me to come, get away from Chicago, which I wanted to do. I was 18, and up until that point, I was pretty much the church musician, to my dad, which was a great experience. But any PK will tell you out there that, there comes a time in a PK's life where, PK meaning preacher's kid, where that individual wants to pursue something beyond what they have experienced in their parents' home. Got here, spent a year and a half at Morehouse, didn't really make any great grades that would, allow me to continue staying there from a scholarship perspective or from a scholastic perspective. And at the same time, I started performing and playing a lot around the city. That's when I formulated my first group of musicians under the name of the band Magic Dream, which I still use that same name to this day. After that, I studied at Georgia State University for a year and a half. And at that point, I then started touring and traveling with a lot of artists that we now recognize. I did some overseas traveling with the sons of Otis Redding, Miss Jean Carn, Jennifer Holliday. Oh, the list goes on and on and on. And so once I saw that music was really my passion, my love, I decided that school wasn't going to be a factor or a priority at that time. And thus, I'm here 40 years later, still above water, still doing what I love to do, and I plan on doing it for another 40 years.
Now, I mean, I've known you for several years now, and so I can appreciate the type of work you put in to kind of become as great a musician as you are. But for those who've never seen you, kind of give them an idea of kind of your style and approach to not only music but the keyboards, which is your instrument.
Yes. Well, so I've been told, women seem to see a very erotic and orgasmic interaction with me and the keyboard. I'm not gloating over that because I don't know what I look like. I'm just going by what someone, other individuals have told me. And then, I've been told by men and women that there's a great sense of majesty with my playing in terms of the appearance of confidence, the sound of both formal training as well as a heightened means of improvising around the music. I'm very energetic on stage. I'm so thankful that at 58 years of age, I don't think of my physical activity when I'm performing as a 58-year-old man. And no 58-year-old man should feel restricted to his physical, means of getting around or presenting himself, or, in this case, being a performer. So it's very energetic. It's very spiritual. It's very motivating. Lot of different elements go into my performance when you come to see me.
So I know you just kind of mentioned what other people kind of thought about you. Do you have an opinion about what you think your best quality as a musician would be?
My best quality as a musician would be how I'm able to connect to my audience. And again, I say that with all great humility. That's something that you acquire over numerous years. And even after 40 years of doing it, I still recognize and know that I can connect with my audience much better than what I'm doing. But that is definitely one of my better qualities as a performing artist, and that is connecting with the audience very instantaneously.
Speaking of connecting with your audience, I know you have a show coming up. It's going to be this Saturday at Marietta Jazz and Joe's. Kind of talk about what can we expect in that performance, in that show?
Well, again, as I mentioned, this is going to be another CD release performance. I did one a couple of weeks ago at a venue in Atlanta called City Winery. And because of the overwhelming response that we got from that show, which was a sold out show, and I'm so thankful to all of my friends and fans who helped to make that a sold out show. My publicist and I, and let me say hello to my publicist, Angela Moore, APM, one of the hardest working women in show business. You better believe it now. She thought that it would be a great idea to do a series of CD release performances in and around the Atlanta area between now and the end of the year, as we embark next year on actually performing and traveling outside of the country. But I wanted to show Atlanta how much I love and appreciate this city for embracing me over the 40 years. And my good friend Fontaine Lewis invited me to participate at his venue, at his production that he does on a regular basis. And this is going to be somewhat of an unplugged presentation, unplugged in that because of the size of the venue, I'm not able to bring the entire band. So I'm going to be performing with my bassist, excuse me, my bassist whose name is Sean Michael Ray, and my drummer whose name is Melvin Melly Baldwin. We're going to perform a lot of the songs from the new CD, as well as some of my signature hit songs from my previous CD. And also got a special guest that's going to show up. I'm not going to mention the person's name now because I want you all to buy a ticket with that anticipation on your mind. But one of the things that I like about playing at Jazz and Jokes, it's a very small venue, very small group of people. And I enjoy playing in small venues because it's an opportunity by which you really have to give more than your all. You have to go beyond the confidence of yourself to go to an area where not only will these people connect with you because they're so physically close to you, but they will actually feel the empowerment of the music so much more profoundly than would be if I were in a venue that seated 3,000 or 5,000 people, if that makes any sense or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The venue is definitely a very intimate venue, and a good chance to connect with the audience, and with the style and the seating. Just kind of recap. Tell us again the dates and how people can purchase tickets to the show.
Okay. Well, again, the show is going to be, Angela's going to be helping me, my publicist here. So if you see me look another direction, that's the reason why. But the show is going to be this coming Saturday at Marietta Jazz and Jokes. I do want to make mention that the name of the venue where this event is going to take place is not called Marietta Jazz and Jokes. The physical address, I don't have that in front of me right now, but we'll get that to our fans and friends. But if you go online, you can search Marietta Jazz and Jokes. It is in the downtown Marietta, Georgia Square area. And I just actually received the address. Now, if I can see it from where I'm looking, if you can make that bigger for me, Angela. The show time is going to be 8 o'clock. Doors open at 7 o'clock. The address to the venue is 164 Roswell Street in Marietta, Georgia. Again, that's 164 Roswell Street in Marietta, Georgia. I believe you can go to Marietta Jazz and Jokes, eventbrite.com. Is that the area where we can get the tickets? People can get tickets, yes. And you can also get information by going to my website, which is williamgreenmusic.com. You can reach out to my publicist, APM, Angela Moore. She can assist you in getting tickets. And because it's a small venue, I want to encourage all of my friends and fans today, get yourself a ticket. Unless some act of God happens, it's going to be, if not already, a sold out show. And I don't want anyone to miss it.